Raskamara coming through you live with a new update on the Quarantine Nation report. Making sure that we get fully updates on the day to day of this new reality called the coronavirus. We make sure that all of the lives are good of this new reality called the coronavirus. And we are live. Live. Back at it again. Make sure that the volume is loud. Back at it again. Volume is loud. Volume is loud. Back at it again. Volume is loud. How's the volume? How's the volume? Okay, okay. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. All right, so we're looking good in volume right now. Let's start the recording on Anchor. Make sure y'all follow me if you want to listen to the podcast through through your phone, through if you're on the car, you want to listen to the podcast, go to Spotify and search the Avo Comedian podcast. It's just activist meets comedian. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you just follow me on that. So every time I put a new post, you can be able to see me on Spotify. So let's get back to let's just start recording in Spotify, just so you know. And we are back at it again. Your boy Ross Kamara coming in with a new update on the coronavirus 2020. Today we're gonna be listening to a few press conference, making some comments in between. The press conference we're doing right now are first we're gonna do Andrew Cuomo, then we're gonna continue with Bill DiBlasio, and I heard at 5 o'clock within an hour the president is gonna talk. So we're gonna get the president one on live. The president's gonna come out with some shenanigans. Let's talk about what are the things that we want to listen to. What are the things that you would like to know more about? But yeah, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York. Let me make sure I search this right now. As of today, let me just get a new tracking. As of today, there's 34,000 new cases in New York. There's 393 deaths. 60 people are seriously ill right now, currently at the hospital. I just heard my man Lugner just gave me a solid on there's currently a doctor that never had any medical problems before, and now she's fighting for her life because she was contaminated with the virus while probably working. That's the sad reality about doctors. So worldwide, we have 339,334 cases. Deaths, we have 14,502. Recovered, we have 96,000, and 228,000 people are unresolved. And like I said, I know the China numbers, but China's lying up to their thieves. China currently has 81,000 cases. That's a lie. They have 46 new cases. That's a lie. Because they, as a communist community, they trying to push that propaganda of like, you know what? We're getting better. It's the world that is infecting us. It's like, no. Y'all the ones eating that nasty stuff, and y'all the ones that got us sick. So don't try to act like the world's doing a bad job. Say all you want. Trump is at fault all you want. But at the same time, China was very responsible on the way of look. I had a customer for Uber, and they saying that the lady was jumping around borders. The mom on February she came to the United States, knowing that a month ago China was crazy about this. She had no symptoms, but guess what? You can have symptoms and still translate it to other people. And as soon as it got crazy here, she went back to China, and I'm like, wow, look at this lady. Look at this lady, the privilege of her in and out getting people sick, and it's very irresponsible of hers. But the rich could do whatever they want. Meanwhile, people that are being affected, day to day check, everybody's job gets canceled. Uber has no love for his driver. Uber doesn't have a program for drivers right now that are not currently working. They want us to go and like deal with waiting for an hour for a ride, and they're like, what's the point of waiting for an hour for a ride if you could get sick? So I mean, the negligence of Uber is just way beyond our hands, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, let's get back to Andrew Cuomo. Let's see what Andrew Cuomo had to say today about the COVID-19, the coronavirus that is currently destroying the world. Forget about the economic sector. The economic sector is already going down the hill. And I heard the president is passing a bill, the Senate is passing a bill that is just helping the corporations. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised now by anything that the Senate does, because they're just a bunch of incompetent people, to tell you the truth. So let's move this here. So yeah, let's see what Andrew Cuomo. Oh my God, it's so hot in here. Can you turn on the AC? I think as soon as I put the suit on, I started burning. Yeah, it's hot. So let's see. Cuomo is currently the president of the United States. I'll tell you that. He has one of the biggest population, and he's doing an outstanding job. He might do better than Italy did as a whole country, and that's gonna tell you a lot of things about who to rely on, who to actually listen to in this type of situations, because you will see that in the beginning of this video, we're gonna listen to Cuomo, and you're gonna feel like he's just telling you the truth. It's a pandemic. It's serious. Take it serious. But I'm more aware if you tell me the truth than like our president right now. He cares more about the economy and more about Boeing and more about corporations than people being sick, people dying right now. There's masks. The hospitals don't have no mask. The hospitals, not the regular people. The hospitals. The people that we have to go in case we get sick. So it's just beyond pathetic.
We have a goal of you increasing your capacity in each hospital by 100%. Yes, an ambitious goal. Yes, very difficult. Yes, it may be impossible in some places. But physical capacity point of view, see if you can increase your capacity 100%. Where do we get
We get 100%. We have 53,000 beds. We have to get to 110,000 beds. Everybody increases by 100%.
Look at that. Don't wait for the situation to get bad.
Simple.
Fix it right away. Be on point.
We understand many hospitals won't be able to do it. However, at a minimum, hospitals must give us a plan to increase capacity by at least 50%. So we'll be at about 75,000 minimum against the 110 need. We would still have to find additional beds. I understand that. And you see what we're doing with the federal government. There's an opportunity there. But every hospital goal of 100% increase in capacity, mandate of 50% increase in capacity. We also have an intensive care unit bed issue where we have to increase the care units. That is limited emergency order to hospitals that says we're not just asking you to do this. It wouldn't just be a nice thing. I'm not just asking you as governor as a civic obligation. This is a law that hospitals must put a plan to increase capacity, a minimum of 50, goal of 100%. We're also canceling all elective, non-critical surgery for hospitals as of Wednesday.
So if you're getting butt surgery, if you're getting titty, if you're getting your nose reduction, if you're getting Botox, guess what? You're gonna look like a hit for the next 2 months. You're not getting your shots this week. So doctors right now say, so doctors Miami go to the clinic, trying to just get surgery. Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Go to the doctor in Fort Lauderdale. He'll fix you. Say that.
And we're putting that mandate in place starting today. We're also creating additional beds in places where we can. We're taking over existing residential facilities, hotels, nursing homes, and repurposing existing facilities. For example, this is rehabilitation and healthcare, 600 beds that we're going to take over and serve as a temporary hospital. And we're doing this in facilities all across the state. Two different facts. I want to make sure we're clear just so there's no confusion. Fact one, young people can get the coronavirus. They're wrong when they say they can't get it. They can get it. 18 to 49-year-olds represent 53% of the total cases in New York. This is not China, this is not South Korea, on the theory that, well, I'm an American youth and therefore I have a superior immune system than China or South Korea. No, that theory is not correct. In New York, 53% of the cases, 18 to 49 years old. Second fact, older people and those with compromised immune system, underlying illness, can die from the coronavirus. You're right, the 18 to 49-year-old is probably not lethal, but you can get it and you can get sick. And it's a nasty illness, and then you can transfer to someone else. That's the case for young people. Older people, obviously, if you're a vulnerable person, it can be lethal. Both facts are true, and both facts have to be understood. Young people can get it, you will get sick, you probably won't die, but you can transfer it to someone who may very well die. And you can transfer it even inadvertently without knowing you're doing it. You can touch a surface, walk away. A day later, someone can sit at this table and put their hand in the same place and contract the virus.
Yep.
I was in New York City yesterday. It was a pretty day. Uh, there is a density level in New York City that is wholly inappropriate. You would think there was nothing going on in parts of New York City. You would think it was just a bright, sunny Saturday. I don't know what I'm saying that people don't get. I'm normally accused of being overly blunt and direct. And I take that. It's true. I don't know what they're not understanding.
Keep it real, Mr. Governor.
This is not life as usual. None of this is life as usual. And this density, we talk about social distancing. I was in these parks. It would not, you would not know.
Yo, black people, you better listen. Stop being bold.
This is just a mistake. It's a mistake. It's insensitive. it's disrespectful to other people, and it has to stop, and it has to stop now. This is not a joke, and I'm not kidding. I spoke with the mayor of the city of New York and the speaker of the city council, Johnson. I told both of them that this is a problem in New York City. It's especially a problem in New York City parks. New York must develop an immediate plan to correct the situation. I want a plan that we can review in 24 hours so that we can approve it. There are many options. You have much less traffic in New York City because non-essential workers aren't going to work. Get creative. Open streets to reduce the density. You want to go for a walk? God bless you. You want to go for a run? God bless you. But let's open streets. Let's open space. That's where people should be, in open space areas, not in dense locations. There's no group activity in parks. That is not the point. We spoke about it the other day. All sorts of kids playing basketball yesterday. I play basketball. There's no concept of social distancing while playing basketball. It doesn't exist. You can't
Unless you're the Knicks. Unless you're the
6 feet
Knicks.
away from a person playing basketball.
That's facts.
You can, but then you're a lousy basketball player and you're going to lose. You just cannot do that. We also have bigger parks in New York City. We opened Shirley Chisholm Park in Brooklyn, 400 acres. Van Cortlandt Park. There are big parks, there are big spaces. That's where you want to be. But we need a plan from New York City. I want it in 24 hours because this is a significant problem that has to be corrected. In terms of numbers, I said yesterday New York is testing more people than any state in the country, and per capita more than any country on the globe. That is a positive accomplishment, pardon the pun, because we want testing, we want more testing. We ramped up very quickly. We're doing it better than anyone else, and that is a good thing because when you identify a positive, then you can isolate that person, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. When you increase the number of tests, you're going to increase the number of people who test positive. And the numbers show exactly that. We have now tested 61,000 people. Newly tested 15,000 people. So these numbers just are exponential to what is being done anywhere else in the country. And that's why you're going to see much higher numbers than anywhere else. Total number of new cases, 15,000. I'm sorry, total number of cases, 15,000. Total number of new cases, 4,800 new cases.
They're making sure they put him.
You see
They
the
testing
state,
people. Test them. Test them.
more
If
and
you're
more
young, stay home.
counties,
Don't
just
talk to your
only a
parents.
handful of counties now
Coronavirus.
cases. As I said, that is going to be 100% covered. It's just a matter of time. On the hospitalization rate, which is a number that I watch very closely, it's 1,900 cases out of 15,000, 13%. 13% is actually lower than it has been. We've been running at 15%, 16%, as high as 20%. This is 13%. This is the key indicator because this is saying how many people are going to come into your healthcare system as the number goes up. So this is not bad news. Across the country, you see New York now has 15,000 cases, Washington State 1,600, California 1,500. So we have roughly 15 times the number of cases. Now, do we really have 15 times the number of cases? You don't know. We're testing much more than anyone else. So that is a major factor in this. But I have no doubt that we have more cases. We have more density. We have more people from other countries who come to New York than many other states. I have no reason to believe that we don't have more. I don't believe we are 15 times more. I believe that's also a factor that we test more than anyone else. 114 new deaths, total number of deaths, 374. And that is a sobering, sad, and
That's a lot of
really
deaths. R.I.P.
distressing fact that should give everyone pause, because that's what this is all about, is saving lives, and we've lost 374 New Yorkers. Keeping it all in perspective, Johns Hopkins has followed this from day one, 311,000 cases, 13,000 deaths. Statewide deaths, to the extent we can research the cause of death and the demographics of death, what we're seeing roughly, 70% of those who passed away were 70 years old or older. And the majority had underlying health conditions, okay? So it is what we said it was. Approximately 80% of the deaths of those under 70 years old had an underlying health condition. So, young people can get it, young people will get sick, young people can transfer it. Mortality, lethality, older, compromised immune system, underlying illness. That's what we're seeing. But even within that population, the capacity of our healthcare system can save those lives. It doesn't mean just because you're 80 and you have a compromised immune system or you have an underlying health condition and you get coronavirus, you must pass away. That's going to depend on how good our healthcare system is. But in terms of overall perspective, I'm afraid for myself, I'm afraid for my sister, I'm afraid for my child. Older, underlying illness, be very, very, very careful. This gets back to Matilda's law, this gets back to my mother. That's my fear. This gets back to nursing homes, senior care facilities, etc. Personal advice, this is not factual. I try to present facts. I try to present everything I know. I try to present unbiased facts. I try to present numbers. Because people need information. When do you get anxious? When do you get fearful? When you don't get the information, or you doubt the information, or you think people don't know what they're talking about, or you think you're getting lied to. So I present facts. This is personal advice. This is not factual. So it's gratuitous, you can take it, you can throw it in the pail. But we have to think this situation through. Don't be reactive at this point to this situation. Yes, you are out of control in many ways. You're out of control to this virus. You're out of work. Situations are changing. They're not in your control. You don't even know how long this is going to go on. It's a very frightening feeling. That is true. But you can also take back some control. Start to anticipate and plan what's going to go on. Plan for the negatives and plan for the positives. There are going to be negatives and there are going to be positives. There are real economic consequences. How do you handle the economic consequences? You're not alone. It's everyone in the United States. That's why you see this federal government acting quickly to get funding into the pockets of families who need it. But think through what the economics mean. Think through the social issues and the social impact of this. Think through the emotional issues of this. You know, it would be unnatural if you didn't have a flood of emotions going on. It would be unnatural. Either you wouldn't understand what was happening or you wouldn't appreciate it. But if you know the facts and you understand what's going on, you have to have a flood of individual emotions, positive and negative, and anticipate it. You know, stay home, stay home, stay home. Well, then you stay home. Remember the old expression, cabin fever, right? You stay home alone. You don't want to be isolated emotionally. You can be isolated physically. You don't want to be isolated emotionally. You want to keep those emotional connections. You want to talk to people. You want to write letters. You want to have emotional connectivity. That is very important. If you're not alone and you're in the house with the family and the kids and everybody's together, that's a different set of emotional complexities. You know, being in that enclosed environment, normally the kids are out, everybody's going to work, and you're only together a short period of time a day. Now you're all in the same place for 24 hours. You know, I remember when the kids were young, what it was like. It's pure joy. But I remember what it was like to be with them for multiple hours. You know, it's complicated. I live alone. I'm even getting annoyed with the dog, you know, being in one place. So think that through because that is real and it's going to go on for a period of time. This is not a short term situation. This is not a long week. This is not a week. The timeline, nobody can tell you. It depends on how we handle it. But 40%, up to 80% of the population will wind up getting this virus. All we're trying to do is slow the spread, but it will spread. It is that contagious. Again, that's nothing to panic over. So the numbers, unless you're older with an underlying illness, etc., it's something that you're going to resolve, but it's going to work its way through society. We'll manage that capacity rate, but it is going to be 4 months, 6 months, 9 months. You look at China, once they really change the trajectory, which we have not done yet, 8 months, we're in that range. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can tell you. Well, I want to know. I want to know. I need to know. Nobody can tell you. I've spoken to more people on this issue than 99% of the people in this country. No one can tell you. From the superb Dr. Fauci to the World Health Organization, the National Institute of Health, but it is in that range. So start to plan accordingly. It's going to be hard, no doubt. I'm not minimizing it, and I don't think you should either. But at the same time, it is going to be okay. You don't want to overreact either, right? The grocery stores are going to function, there's going to be food, the transportation systems are going to function, the pharmacies are going to be open, all essential services will be maintained. There's not going to be chaos, there's not going to be anarchy. Order and function will be maintained. Life is going to go on. Different, but life is going to go on. So there is no reason to be going to grocery stores and ordering food.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Like the dollar lady, don't buy all the toilet paper because it's not gonna be Armageddon. And you can wash your ass without toilet paper, just so you know. We got 6 people, 8 people alive right now. CFB Nation, what's up?
So a deep breath.
Where you guys quarantine yourself from?
That whatever this is, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, we are going to be the better for it.
You got 7 people
You're
alive.
talking about the greatest generation, the generation that survived World War II. Dealing with hardship actually makes you stronger. Life.
This guy Cuomo is doing a way better job than our current president, so I rely on him because he has a big population. The governor of Florida is probably partying right now He's probably in an orgy right now. Just try to fight it, like just like Andrew Gilliam. I mean, no, actually, Andrew Gilliam was the one. The Democrat was the one that was found with meth in his ass.
That's what life is
Shame,
about.
shame,
And
shame.
that's what this country is about. America is America because we overcome adversity and challenges. That's how we were born.
Facts.
That's what we've done all our life. We overcome challenges. And this is a period of challenge for this generation.
This is gonna show you who's the leader, who's who. This is gonna show you who's gonna be community centered. You know what I noticed? Immigrants are not struggling with this because immigrants have this sense of like helping each other, looking up for each other. Americans are very selfish. I'm in my house, fuck my neighbor, type of thing. That is not gonna work. We need to work as a community.
Questions? On New York City reducing its density, is it within your powers to do those sorts of things? And we're talking about closing streets to traffic, to increase pedestrian traffic. Can you explain the logic of what exactly that would look like in New York
Well,
City?
that's space because New York City has no space, you moron.
Make those decisions in New York City. In truth, Jesse, I only, well, first of all, I'm in New York City, born and bred, if you can't tell. So I know New York City uh, from every kind of dimension.
You don't want it to be a cluster. You don't want people to just be at home sick and making it worse.
On opening streets, closing streets well enough, and frankly, I think the local officials are in a better position to make those decisions. They see this issue also. It's not that they don't see the issue. They see the issue. They see the problem. I want them to come up with a plan. I think they're in a better position to do it. I want to know what it is, and I want to approve it because this is a serious problem. That density has to be reduced, and it has to be reduced fast. And that's why I'm asking for a plan from them in 24 hours. But I think they're in a better position. I want to see what they say. They know. They know the problem. They see it. I mean, it's all over the place. It's not that you need a microscope to find this. It is all over.
Let's see what Bill DiBlasio has to say. I don't want to. I don't want to watch the whole. If you want to watch this whole interview, go to MBC News or just go to Governor Andrew Cuomo's Twitter feed. See what the city has in charge. 'Cause, again, these two guys are stepping up to the plate, and I appreciate that they are. De Blasio is currently trying to be on the same page with Andrew Cuomo. They're not friends. Those guys actually are pretty like not enemies, but within the city, there's what's going on? Trump car? What is going on? What is this? Oh my God, Trump! What is going on? Is he like selling? What is going on? Sorry, that commercial was disturbing. But with the city, downstate and upstate, upstate being Albany and downstate being New York City, they have a turmoil relationship of like, hey, we made enough money, give us our money back, and then like you have the regularities of being a governor that you have to deal with. You have to deal with 40 million people, and the governor and the mayor is like, hey, I have 8 million people. That's probably bigger than West Virginia. That's probably bigger than Maine or any other state. So I'm dealing with a lot too. So both of them have a lot of things in common. Both of them are actually pretty good at like managing a big group of people. New York City has great ways of like communicating. You go to newyorkcity.com and you can be able to get access from like I don't know from a traffic case to what street is closed. So so let's listen to Bill De Blasio now. We switch from Cuomo to Bill De Blasio. He also started with the fact that people are currently going to the playground and hating like I said, this is not serious. Playgrounds open to the maximum extent possible, monitored and enforced, but parents have to make their own choices for this next week as to what they feel is appropriate.
And we'll see how it goes for a week. If people are responsible about use of the playgrounds and believe it's a good outlet for kids who only get a short period of exercise each day, we'll keep them open. If we feel that they're not being handled, treated properly, we feel that people are taking advantage in the wrong way of this situation, or not paying attention to the rules, or it's creating something that's not supportable, we'll have to at that point strongly consider shutting it down. It's not something I want to do. I really don't want to do that. I'm saying as a parent. So we're going to see how this week goes. And in agreement with
This is Bill DiBlasio, the mayor of New York, currently talking about the situation.
The state with a written plan delineating what I've just told you in broad stroke, and we'll the state each step of the way going forward to determine how best to handle a real sense of reality of our parks and playgrounds. But again, NYPD is going to be out there. If they see anything that looks like even the beginning of a gathering, they're going to say break it up. They're going to say you gotta get your quick exercise individually and get home. The message couldn't be clearer. And Commissioner Shea will give you a sense of what he's experienced in recent days, but I can summarize it. New Yorkers are listening. They are following the guidance they're getting.
You have a charger?
When a police officer or other enforcement officer tells them to do something, overwhelmingly they are doing it. They don't understand what time it is. So I think we're going to see that we're going to find a way to make this work. Okay. Very quickly, let me just note, 1 second. Oh, this is consistent with this point. To confirm just how much New Yorkers are adhering to rules, I want to give you an example. It's a very striking example. Anyone who knows this town and has been here for any amount of your life, especially if you've been here a long time, I think you might find this striking. Yesterday in New York City, we sent out 4 agencies, NYPD, FDNY, Department of Buildings and Sheriff's Office, to continue doing enforcement at bars, restaurants, movie theaters, gyms, any place that we needed to ensure people were congregating. There were 13,000 inspections yesterday by those agencies, 13,000 inspections, of which in only 11 instances was a violation given. 1 in 1,000, less than 1 in 1,000 cases was it even necessary to give a violation. I think that speaks volumes about what we are dealing with now. A very important topic. There's been a lot of concern about our jail system. I'm going to be giving you constant.
Yeah, there's protests in Rikers.
Obviously, talked about an initial group of inmates who were being reviewed for release. This will be an ongoing situation.
Yeah, you gotta release those people. Guess what? 85% of people in New York City jails, mostly Rikers, are innocent people that can't afford to pay $1,000 bail. Can't afford to. Don't even know that they got $1,000 bail. There was a case of I don't know, the kid that stole the book bag. Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown spent 3 years in jail for being accused for stealing a $15 Giant Sports book bag. 3 years in jail. Then we find out he had a $20 bail. And he didn't know because there was no communication. You put a 16-year-old in this situation, in this hooligan situation, in this zoo that is Rikers Island, and then you leave him to rot, basically. So, I know a lot of people have their thoughts on like, oh, the prisoners, they shouldn't have done the crime. But they're innocent until proven guilty. So if you're gonna do that to the rich, look at the senators that 4 senators, 5 senators that sold their stocks right before the whole before we kind of knew that this was serious, when people were dying and we were ignoring it, and they sold their stocks. No prosecution to those guys. Oh no, we need the senators and the governors to be in charge of the state because their states rely on them. No, fire their asses. They doing insider trading. They stealing from the people. Martha Stewart went to jail for the same thing. So I keep the same energy, like Charlemagne says. Keep the same energy with these politicians that are caring more about their pockets than their constituents.
healthy and safe. There's a lot of resources being applied for the safety of our officers and inmates alike.
Let me just pause the blog. So let me give a little update. According to BNA News, right now in the United States, there's 35,047 cases. Currently, there's 398 deaths. I know we have 11 people watching. Hit the like button, support, man, so we get more people to come through to the quarantine nation. We have 35 people recover. In New York City, actually, let me go to BNA News so you guys can see what I'm seeing, because it would just be unfair. I'll cut DiBlasio for a minute. All right. All right, this is still loading. So let me start. New York City has 15,000 cases, 15,777 cases, 114 deaths. Washington D.C. No, Washington State. My bad. Washington State has 1,793 cases and 96 deaths. 19 people recovered. California has 1,536 cases and 28 deaths. That's what the president is not telling you. The president is not telling you was the ongoing thing. He declared like what is it called, like emergency disaster area for New York City. Like as if like even I think the West Virginia Jim Justice, the governor of West Virginia, was trying to downplay New York State's ability to check everybody to get all these cases. He's claiming, oh, in New York City, the cases are rising, unlike us. Yes, dum dum. If you only had 327 tests and you haven't been able to test everybody, how the hell are you going to know who's sick and who's not? It's even worse because if you're sick, you could quarantine those people and be like, hey, don't touch grandma. Don't talk to the guy in the bodega that is like 85 years old. Don't talk to those people. Stay away from those people. Because your white blood cells are designed for you to fight this. It's not a no way out, but you got to think worst case scenario when it comes to this, because it's something that we never actually lived through. We heard of it from like books and things. Like we heard of like the Black Plague. We heard about Europe dying of different type of diseases, the bubonic plague. But we never actually experienced this thing. We heard of biological weapons, but we never experienced it. We seen Syrian kids smelling some type of chemical that the government gave out. We seen that, but we never experienced it here. We never experienced it at home. So it could be if we don't take the good actions before this whole thing start peaking, then it's gonna be a lot of states that are gonna be. I mean, sadly, there's gonna be people rioting. Sadly, there's gonna be people looking for food. Sadly, we're gonna have the military conducting people not as citizens, but conducting people as like enemies of the state. Because right now, wasn't it good? Wasn't it bar? Whoever's the Justice Department. This guy is trying to use coronavirus to kill people's constitutional rights. So the same way we gave out all our rights during 9/11 through the Patriots Act, this is going to be the new Patriots Act. This is going to be the new, the government could get rid of you without letting your family know. There's going to be no courts because, according to the Constitution, you have to go to court. There's going to be no court. There's going to be speedy courts. There's going to be you're guilty right away. So we might blame China, we might blame communist countries, but look, we might have to end up to those measures. So for now, we need to do the best job we could, to be able to minimize the problem. Quarantine those people. Italy is currently having hundreds of people dying per day, per second. So do we want to be Italy? Or do we want to be South Korea? South Korea is getting new cases, but guess what? South Korea has been testing. And that's why I acknowledge Bill DiBlasio. That's why I acknowledge not because I work for his campaign. I gotta admit, I worked for his political campaign before, so I do have ties with DiBlasio. But I'm not being biased. These guys are doing their job, what they have to do. I wish like, my governor DeSantis here in Florida would be as responsible, but he's allowing people to congregate.
But a lot of the blood drives that happen throughout the year, particularly based in companies that we appreciate deeply, a lot of those have been canceled because the companies have had to shut down. Giving blood is essential, so we need New Yorkers to step forward, go to any New York blood centers in the city. If you're going to give blood, everyone will know that that is an essential activity. Again, you go, you participate, every one of us says thank you, and get back home as with everything else. If you are ready and willing and able to give blood, please call 800 933 2566. Again, 800 933 2566, or go to www.nybc.org. nybc.org. Everyone, I've heard from so many New Yorkers who want to do something, who are looking to be helpful and frustrated by this crisis. And
Hey, we got 3 viewers right now. We already had 145 viewers. Yo, thank you guys for pulling up. For pulling up. I'm still gonna be able to do all this day by day because like oh look at the Blasio out here with Espanol. Blasio, that's about your way better than Bloomberg. Bloomberg sounds like he's on crack.
Los meses que vienen van a ser difíciles, pero vamos a
The months that come are gonna be difficult, but we're gonna fight this crisis
lo hacen los neoyorquinos.
like we always do as New Yorkers.
I want to turn to our police commissioner. I want to thank you, Commissioner, and all the men and women of the NYPD for absolutely outstanding work in this crisis. And I know together we're going to be figuring out how to do some new things. But I know you are up to the task, as are the men and women who serve under your command. Commissioner Dermot Shea. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the mayor said, it's been an interesting couple of weeks here. I can tell you definitively that the men and women of the New York City Police Department, as well as all the other city agencies, certainly the health workers across the board, are rising to the challenge. And it's at a time like this when, quite frankly, you see the best in people come out. And we're seeing it day in and day out. The traditional crime that we put on the shoulders of the men and women of the New York City Police Department has not been forgotten. There was so much more that they picked up in the last couple of weeks. Just most recently, in the last couple of days, we've begun surveying over 500 large supermarkets in New York City. Just yesterday, in the last 24 hours, in pharmacies and supermarkets, over 1,600 visits by the men and women of the New York City Police Department. And literally,
Lana, can you turn that off? That alarm? I noticed that in my videos, that alarm is sounding every second. Beep. Beep. Yeah, so loud. No. The alarm. I never said the air conditioner. The alarm. Like, take that off. Take the battery off. It's like every 3 seconds. It's like beep. Beep. Now I'm like, okay, P. Shut up, P.
serviced by traditional means and working with elected officials, working with community partners, getting them food. So I can tell you.
You want me to help you?
Huh?
Huh?
To the parks, the mayor mentioned the parks, and in the last couple days, it's an interesting dynamic now as we get through this time where we're all stressed, I think, and all pent up inside, and we are like no other city in the world. In a city of over 8 million people, a vertical city. And you saw yesterday people getting out, exercising, which is a good thing. I can tell you that I hit the last 48.
Well, if you're watching, every time that beat comes out, just take a shot if you're at home. So every time my smoke alarm goes beep, take a shot. I don't know what time to. Again, he's back. Some people are telling me that this because it's in its charge. I don't know.
It's a two-on-two pickup.
And its new
And
batteries.
I can tell you that the men and women now of the New York City Police Department are more and more involved in this, as the mayor said. Made calls yesterday and Bureau of the NYPD to reinforce all this together, reinforce that positive message. As much as you want to get out, there's a responsible way to do it. And that's what we all need to hear and take part in. So you'll expect to see police officers throughout the boroughs. On a bicycle, probably on some scooters and some police cars driving slow through the parks and just broadcasting and speaking to people about that message. Enjoy, how you doing? Get your exercise, and then politely get out of here. And I say that tongue in cheek. We are all in this together, and it was really, it was heartwarming, I'm sure, to see this time. People that are behind closed doors all day, every day. That's not really what we're worried about when they're walking. A husband and wife holding hands in the park, they walk out the door. That's not really what we're worried about. That's a together department anyway, but it's the large groups. I heard from some elected officials yesterday and throughout the city working on this. We gotta think long distance here. This is a long game. So those backyard parties, those DJs, I'm sorry DJs, I know how everyone is hurting here.
DJ is bad for business right now. If you're gonna DJ, do like DJ D Nice. Hosted DJ D Nice last night hosted 10 hours of continuous DJ. And I was like, oh, why is this guy trending? Why he's so overrated? 10 hours. The man went from 12 noon to like 12 a.m. and everybody pulled up. Michelle Obama pulled up. I mean, like every celebrity pulled up. It was like a little, like a fish marker of like just every like, oh, let me look what's going on. Some people were dancing with him. Jamie Foxx was singing with him. So, or like you will pull up on the live feed on the chat room, and let's say for example JC pull up, hey, let's put some JC music, so it was like giving shout outs. So now that kind of created a cluster of like celebrities like on the chat room, like, yo, we want to be able to like shout outs to you. So shout outs to DJ Nice. He did a great job at that, because I also heard that with quarantine, a lot of bad things start to happen. Mostly, there's a lot of domestic violence cases going up right now because of quarantine. So, hey, if you're with your wife, keep your hands to yourself, man. If your wife, if your husband, man, quarantine yourself. There was a case of a lady that just turned 50, and she was talking about how she turned 50 and she finally had the courage to divorce her husband because after so many years of like, I don't know. I believe. Let me search her up. She did a whole blog about like leaving her husband while on a quarantine, how happy she was, and I was like, okay, whatever. And like you saw like a wave of women like, yeah, I left that motherfucker too, and I'm like, ah, damn, some angry bitches out here. Like I said, no, I meant to say bitches. I meant to say bitches. Um, Do you notice this? Math is like very continuous. I used to think that sound was like every hour. That sound is every 2 minutes. Sorry. Let me put the block in the meantime.
I really think there's a deep understanding that something profound has changed and it has to be handled. I have a lot of faith in New Yorkers. I have a lot of faith in people. Will there be some individuals out of 8.6 million people who don't get it? Of course. And our officers, for time immemorial, have had to deal with people who don't get it. People try and make their own rules. People think they're smarter than anyone else.
Oh, that's another thing too. I never thought about
City police officer.
it. Parents fighting for their kids. that's another case. Where does the kid go? Mostly when like you have the single mother and she's in an apartment. I'm just guessing, but she's in an apartment in Brooklyn. You have the husband that has a different whole family, and now he wants to bring the kid to a bigger house. But the mom's like, "No, come here, stay with me." And then the father's like, "Hey, we in Connecticut. We got a house. We got a compound. We got food." Those type of situations also come into plays because in reality, the kid probably wants to be with his. I'm just putting out a suggestion. I'm not saying this is the real case, but going through Twitter and reading through like let me see. It says, and so it begins. Divorced and separated parents are now fighting over who keeps the kids during quarantine. My emails are on fire with panicked clients stating she is refusing to return the kids. I don't have the answer. This is a scary time for all parents. Yeah. Divorced so long ago, I've forgotten a ton. The fraud, no. But also near total abandonment of the name of ambition. 30 years, kids are now chuckling because in coronavirus, in quarantine, dad, mom discover family finally. Can we come over? Oh, so in this case, the family was actually reunited. My mom and I are blasting songs we listened to when her and my dad got divorced. Quarantine is weird now. I'm telling you, like, you have this like this you have this picture of like women after quarantine all gonna be pregnant because hey, can we can we find the cure ASAP? If we stay at this quarantine more than that, my parents will get divorced. I'm telling you, like some people are not taking this. Like if you're forced, like I, yeah. I always had this story of like there was this guy that and it happens all in my life. I always met a guy with a Mustang that decides, hey, I want to stay home. So I'm how to explain this? Like when I was younger, when I was like 13, there was this guy that in our parking spot back in Brooklyn, this Jamaican guy was sitting in his Mustang and just smoke his weed and just chill from like we'll probably be there like we'll probably get there at 7 and you'll go back at 12 and he'll be there. I'm like, dang. So one day I'm like, hey, walk on. Like, why you like being in your car so much? He explained to me, why back then I was young, I didn't understand. He's like, oh well, just try to stay away from the wife. My only space. I didn't understand that. Now that I'm grown, I'm like, oh yeah, I understand. I understand. You gotta stay away. You need some peace of mind. But and now it's the same thing in my apartment complex. I don't know if it's because of the wife, but there's this guy that hangs out in his Mustang all day, and I'm like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know I want to know what the inside of a Mustang is like. Is it that comfortable? What does it come with? Like, I don't know. I don't know what is it. Mustang owners, but they love to just not drive, not go. No, they just like to sit there, waste gas, and just stay there. And I still couldn't understand. Your your one aunt getting divorced after a year of quarantine with her soul because people wouldn't stay the fuck inside. I don't know what that means. Man, I'm trying to look at this case of the lady that basically was. Oh man, I don't find it. She said she was 50 and she decided to divorce her husband in the middle of a quarantine. So she's like, I'm happy that I'm alone. It's like I think in Spanish the saying I go mejor solo que mal acompañado, which means like I'd rather be alone than with bad company. So yeah, we already have 178 people coming in and out of this chat room. Shout outs to the Periscope viewers. Follow me on Twitter, man. Give me some follows. Support. Damn, people divorce a lot at 50. Is it like if 50 is like is 50 like the halfway for a lot of people? Like, okay, if I'm 50. Yeah, like I need to get rid of this man. It's this man. It's not me. It's not me. It's his fault. I have to get rid of him and take 43% of his stuff. Because hey, I was the one that actually told him to buy that. I was the one that told him go get that job. So yeah, I deserve 43%. 43% of his, and I'm 50. I mean, yeah. Oh my God, Harvey Weinstein tests positive for coronavirus? Is this real? Hold up. Breaking news, breaking news. Hold on. Harvey, so that's probably got Harvey Weinstein coronavirus? Whoa. We're gonna have to change the title because we gotta stop the anchor because anchor does 30 minutes. All right, let's stop the recording on anchor. Okay, we did the recording. Let's do another recording. So we have breaking news right now. Breaking news. And we are back at it again at the Avo Comedian Podcasting Anchor. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, breaking news we have right now. I'm saying, look, nurse, breaking news. Damn, this computer's so slow right here. Computer's slow because of the OBS that is running. I'm just trying to get you updated. Yeah, so wow, Harvey Weinstein's having a bad month. Harvey Weinstein, former music movie producer, Harvey Weinstein, now one of New York's most notorious prison inmates after being sentenced to for sex assault, has tested for COVID-19, according to officials. So, I mean, that's good for him because then nobody's gonna try to attack him. Because I'm pretty sure his biggest fear is getting raped, getting extortion and things like that. So wow, that's a negligent thing because if a higher power prisoner like Harvey Weinstein, inmate actually, prisoner is actually a different thing. But if an inmate like Harvey Weinstein gets coronavirus, that means that anybody could get it. I'm saying anybody could get it because this guy has 24/7 security. Let's switch the title. Okay, Harvey Weinstein. Should I say contracted or what word should I use? Contracted or Lana? Contracted? Is it contracted? Yeah. Contracted, contracted.
He got the coronavirus.
He got the Rona. I think he was in Rikers. And he was and then he was transferred to upstate New York. So wow, that is a big news cycle right there. Harvey Weinstein. I mean, they are using celebrities. Guess what? Even when you're a celebrity in jail, you get tested for coronavirus. That's how good it's been a celebrity right now. If you play basketball, ooh, that is amazing. Harvey Weinstein has contracted coronavirus, according to our sources. Let me see. Let me read the whole article. So this is not. I'm pretty sure he's in Albany right now. They moved him from Rikers because Rikers is pre-sentencing jail. You know, a lot of people like we mentioned in the earlier video, 85% of those people that are currently in Rikers are not actually prisoners. They're currently awaiting trial. It's just some of them can't afford bail and things like that. Like Harvey was outside the whole time. So let's see. It says here. It says here. I like that they put winning, but he did win a lot of Oscars. I ain't gonna lie. He won so many Oscars.
Albany, Oscar-winning movie producer Harvey Weinstein, now one of New York's most notorious prison inmates after being sentenced for sexual assault, has tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, according to officials connected to the state prison system. Weinstein, who turned 68 last Thursday, is being isolated at Wendy Correctional Facility in western New York, officials
So
told
Wendy
CNN
Correctional
twice
Facility.
Sunday. He is one of 2 Wendy inmates who have tested positive, the officials said. Weinstein is serving a 23-year sentence for rape and sexual assault in a prosecution that attracted worldwide attention amid the Me Too movement. Officials familiar with his situation said it is believed Weinstein was positive for the virus when he entered the state prison system last Wednesday from Rikers Island, a New York City jail. Weinstein was sent to Wendy, where
so he probably contracted coronavirus in Bellevue.
Facilities from there after medical and security concerns are assessed. Weinstein was accepted by the prison system last week following his sentencing at a Manhattan courtroom. During his trial, he had been alternating his time between Rikers Island and the New York City hospital, where he was treated for high blood pressure and chest pains.
As we know, he also had a bypass surgery, like a artery on his heart. Most likely the same thing that Bernie got, but since Bernie's old as hell, damn. So that's looking bad for Weinstein. Weinstein most likely contracted the virus when he was in Bellevue when we were not taking this serious, or who knows? This is just another Jeffrey Epstein case of, hey, let's give it to Weinstein. Weinstein has too much information. You think Weinstein got 23 years just because he got 23 years? No. There's currently when you get less than the 54 years that you were supposed to get, that's because the prosecutor has made a deal with the judge and the jury, basically saying, look, this guy's giving us a lot of information. We need to promise him what he wants. 20 years. We could bring it down to 8 years. Mr. Weinstein, after you saw, after do everything you do 8 years, you're gonna be able to go to what's it called? Probation or parole, whatever it is. So promise him with the enticement of, like, you better snitch. You gotta tell us numbers, you gotta tell us places, you gotta tell us to, give us videos, and let's just read the rest.
Michael Powers, president of the New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association (NYSCOPBA), said he could not comment on Weinstein's situation or elaborate on any inmate's health record due to privacy rules. Powers acknowledged the union has urged state corrections officials to immediately suspend all non-essential transfers of inmates from one state facility to another, as well as the transporting of local jail prisoners to the state prisons during the ongoing health emergency. There is no better breeding ground for this virus than a closed environment such as a correctional facility, said Powers. The Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, the agency overseeing state facilities, declared last week it is suspending all visits to prison inmates to counter the spread of the virus. The officials who said Weinstein has tested positive spoke on the condition of anonymity, noting they were not authorized by the corrections agency to publicly comment on the situation. Powers said 3 state corrections officers are among those who have tested positive, and numerous officers throughout the system are being monitored after coming in contact with people believed to have been infected, he noted.
Wow, so Harvey Weinstein, Oscar-winning movie producer, currently a New York State rapist, has reportedly been placed into isolation. More isolation. Imagine getting isolated in prison.
Deserve that shit.
No, he deserves everything that is coming. but also, this is sad, and this has more into it because I'm not worried about him. He's a pathetic loser. He deserves everything coming for him. But the criminal justice system is taking a big hit because now not only are courts, a lot of courtrooms are being closed. Not only a lot. Look, like right now, like if you have a case, right? Right now, like in a month, I have to show up for a traffic thing, right? If I show up to the traffic thing and the police officer doesn't show up, the case gets dismissed because you have no witness on the side of the criminal justice system. If now let's put again, if I show up to court and there's no case, there's no nothing, there's no judge, everything gets dismissed because they have you have there's a regularity within the Constitution that you gotta process things within a certain boundaries. There's statutes of limitation on things. So a lot of things are gonna get messed up, but good for the prisons people. You know why? Because in this situation, look at ICE. ICE is currently dividing families, going into families, bro, and taking the father. If you take out the father, you take everything. Don't get me wrong. The woman is very important, but for a Latino family, we're very like 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 it's like the women depend on the man, and if you take the man out, it's very sad because then she's in a situation of like she can be able to take care of kids, and now we're seeing that even when you go and take the person out, you're still wrong because if you put them in Rikers, if you put them in the criminal justice system, there's more of a probability that you get COVID-19 because there's no air in prison. You know, we have this draconian rules that we love to talk down on other countries, but we have draconian rules for human beings. We have human beings in cages. We have human beings. We have 25% of the world population of prisons. We have more prisoners than China, and that should not be like that. We should not be using our prison system as a way of like monetize. That's just the sad thing that you get out of this. That at least we have the option to quarantine. We have the option to be in our house. When you're placed there, imagine if you're an innocent victim and you're just there because I don't know the RICO laws. You took a picture with a rapper and now you're part of a gang. Like what? But wow, Harvey Weinstein has tested positive for coronavirus. But like yeah, like this Amanda Littman says of fucking course that Harvey Weinstein is able to get tested. That's another thing. Like hold on, so we don't have a lot of tests and we testing this asshole and like it's who could get it. I'm pretty sure with money and with the relations that this guy has, that's another thing. There's relations with him. For him to get this, I'm pretty sure the New York State is not putting it's not putting like it's not testing prisoners like as a requirement right now. They're probably dealing with the regular public. But Harvey Weinstein's lawyer or his connections probably leaded to this, and this should not be. This is gonna take over the whole conversation. I bet you, because he's not supposed to be the one getting tested, no matter what. Yeah, prison has the best um, health system. If you don't have any health care, if you don't have any insurance, but it shouldn't be like that. As we await for the president, let's listen to
There is a density
Cuomo.
level in New York City that is wholly inappropriate. You would think there was nothing going on in parts of New York City. You would think it was just a bright, sunny Saturday. I don't know what I'm saying that people don't get. I'm normally accused of being overly blunt and direct, and I take that true. I don't know what they're not understanding. This is not life as usual. None of this is life as usual. And this kind of density, we talk about social distancing. I was in these parks. You would not know that anything was going on. This is just a mistake. It's a mistake.
There's allegations
It's
that
sensitive.
Biden has coronavirus. That's why we haven't seen him in
It's
public for 6 days.
it's disrespectful to other people, and it has to stop. It has to stop.
6 days.
This is not a joke, and I'm not kidding. We spoke with the mayor of the city of New York and the speaker of the city council, Corey Johnson. I told both of them that this is a problem in New York City. It's especially a problem in New York City parks. New York City must develop an immediate plan to correct this situation. I want a plan that we can review in 24 hours so that we can approve it. There are many options. You have much less traffic in New York City because non-essential workers aren't going to work. Get creative. Open streets to reduce the density. You want to go for a walk? God bless you. You want to go for a ride? God bless you. But let's open streets, let's open space. That's where people should be, in open space areas, not in dense locations. There's no group activity in parks. That is not the point. We spoke about it the other day. All sorts of kids playing basketball. I play basketball. There's no concept of social distancing while playing basketball.
Unless you
You can't
the Knicks love social distancing against a
basketball.
3-point shooter.
You can.
Oh,
You're a lousy basketball player.
yeah, you're Knicks fan. Yeah, you're
You
Knicks.
just cannot. We also have bigger parks in New York City. We opened Shirley Chisholm Park in Brooklyn. 400 acres. Van Cortlandt Park. They're big parks. They're big spaces.
Mr. Governor, nobody going to Van Cortlandt. That's too far. Unless you live on the last stop of the 2 train, nobody going to Van Cortlandt. That's too far. Come on, let's be
In
serious.
terms of numbers,
Let's keep it
I said
real.
yesterday, New York is testing more people than any state in the country.
Any
and per
country.
capita more than any country on the globe. That is a positive accomplishment, pardon the pun, because we want testing, we want more testing. We ramped up very quickly. We're doing it better than anyone else, and that is a good thing because when you identify a positive, then you can isolate that person, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. When you increase the number of tests, you're going to increase the number of people who test positive. And the numbers show exactly that. We have now tested 61,000 people. Newly tested 15,000 people. So these numbers just are exponential to what is being done anywhere else in the country. And that's why you're going to see much higher numbers than anywhere else. Total number of new cases, 15,000. Total number of cases, 15,000. Total number of new cases, 4,800 new cases. You see the state, more and more counties. We're just down to a handful of counties now where we don't have existing cases. As I said, that is going to be 100% covered. It's just a matter of time. On the hospitalization rate, which is a number that I watch very closely, it's 1,900 cases at 15,000, 13%. 13% is actually lower than it has been. We've been running at 15%, 16%, as high as 20%. This is 13%. This is the key indicator because this is saying how many people are going to come into your healthcare system as the number goes up. So this is not bad news. Across the country, you see New York now has 15,000 cases, Washington State 1,600, California 1,500. So we have roughly 15 times the number of cases. do we really have 15 times the number of cases? You don't know. We're testing much more than anyone else. So that is a major factor in this. But I have no doubt that we have more cases. We have more density. We have more people from other countries who come to New York than many other states. I have no reason to believe that we don't have more. I don't believe we are 15 times more. I believe that's also a factor that we test more than anyone else. 114 new deaths, total number of deaths, 374. And that is a sobering, sad, and really distressing fact that should give everyone pause, because that's what this is all about, is saving lives, and we've lost 374 New Yorkers. Keeping it all in perspective, Johns Hopkins has followed this from day one, 311,000 cases, 13,000 deaths. Statewide deaths, to the extent we can research the cause of death and the demographics of death, we're seeing roughly 70% of those who passed away were 70 years old or older, and the majority had underlying health conditions, okay? So it is what we said it was. Approximately 80% of the deaths of those under 70 years old had an underlying health condition. So, young people can get it, young people will get sick, young people can transfer. Mortality, lethality, older, compromised immune system, underlying illness. That's what we're saying. But even within that population, the capacity of our healthcare system can save those lives. It doesn't mean just because you're 80, you have a compromised immune system, or you have an underlying health condition, and you get coronavirus, you must pass away. That's going to depend on how good our healthcare system is. But in terms of overall perspective, I'm afraid for myself, I'm afraid for my sister, I'm afraid for my child. Older, underlying illness, be very, very, very careful. This gets back to Matilda's fault. This gets back to my mother. That's my fear. This gets back to nursing homes, senior care facilities, etc. Personal advice is not factual. I try to present facts. I try to present everything I know. I try to present unbiased facts. I try to present numbers. People need information. When do you get anxious? When you get fearful? When you don't get the information? When you doubt the information? Or you think people don't know what they're talking about? Or you think you're getting light? So I present facts. This is personal advice. This is not factual. So it's so gratuitous, you can take it, you can throw it in the pail. But we have to think this situation through. Don't be reactive at this point to this situation. Yes, you are out of control in many ways. You're out of control to this virus. You're out of work. Situations are changing. They're not in your control. You don't even know how long this is going to go on. It's a very frightening feeling. That is true. But you can also take back some control. Start to anticipate and plan what's going to go on. Plan for the negatives and plan for the positives. There are going to be negatives and there are going to be positives. There are real economic consequences. How do you handle the economic consequences? You're not alone. It's everyone in the United States. That's why you see this federal government acting quickly to get funding into the pockets of families who need it. But think through what the economics mean. Think through the social issues and the social impact of this. Think through the emotional issues of this. You know, it would be unnatural if you didn't have a flood of emotions going on. It would be unnatural. Either you wouldn't understand what was happening or you wouldn't appreciate it. But if you know the facts and you understand what's going on, you have to have a flood of individual emotions, positive and negative. And it's just, you know, stay home, stay home. Whether you stay home, remember the old expression, cabin fever, right? You stay home. Emotional connectivity. That is very important. If you're not alone and you're in the house with the family and the kids and everybody together, that's a different set of emotional complexity. You know, in that enclosed environment, normally the kids are out, everybody's going to work, you're only together for a short period of time a day. Now you're all in the same place for 24 hours. You know, I remember when the kids were young, what it was like. It's pure joy. I remember what it was like to be with them for multiple hours. You know, it's complicated. I live alone. I'm even annoyed with the dog, you know, being in one place. So think that through because that is real and it's going to go on for a period of time. This is not a short-term situation. This is not a long weekend. This is not a week. The timeline, nobody can tell. It depends on how we handle it. 40% to 80% of the population will wind up getting this. All we're trying to do is slow the spread, but it will spread. It is that contagious. Again, that's nothing to panic over. So the numbers, unless you're older with an illness, etc., it's something that you're going to resolve, but it's going to work its way through society. We'll manage that capacity rate, but it is going to be 4 months, 6 months, 9 months. China, they change the trajectory, which we have not done yet. 8 months. We're in that range. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can tell you. Well, I want to know. I want to know. I need to know. Nobody can tell you. I've spoken to more people on this issue than 99% of the people in this country. No one can tell you. Not from the Super Fauci to the World Health Organization, National Institute of Health, but it is in that range. So start to plan accordingly. It's going to be hard. There is no doubt. I'm not minimizing it, and I don't think you should either. But at the same time, it's going to be okay. Don't overreact either, right? The grocery stores are going to function. There's going to be food. The transportation system is going to function. The pharmacies are going to be open. All essential services will be maintained. There's not chaos. There's not going to be anarchy. Order and function will be maintained. Life is going to go on. Different, but life is going to go on. So there is no reason to be going to grocery stores and ordering food. You see all this overreaction on the TV every day, and makes you think maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I should run to the store to buy toilet paper. Life is going to go on. The toilet paper is going to be there tomorrow. So,
That's what I was telling Lana.
that whatever this is, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, we are going to be the better for it.
Minimize the exposure.
You talk about
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
I don't want to be every day,
that
every month,
survive
but gotta go once in 2 weeks.
dealing with hardship. That should make you stronger. Life on the individual challenges are going to come your way. Life is going to knock you on your rear end at one point. Something will happen. And then life becomes about overcoming those challenges. That's what life is about. And that's what this country is about. America is America because we overcome adversity and challenges. That's how we were born. That's what we've done all our life. We overcome challenges. And this is a period of challenge for this generation. And that's what has always made America great. And that's what's going to make this generation great. I believe that to the bottom of my soul. We're going to overcome this, and America will be the greater for it. And my hope is that New York is going to lead the way forward. And together, we will. Questions?
On New York City reducing its density, is it within your powers to do those sorts of things? And you're talking about closing streets to traffic, to increase pedestrian traffic. Can you explain the logic of what exactly that would look like in New York City?
I could make those decisions in New York City. In truth, Jesse, well, first of all, I'm in New York City, born and bred, if you can't tell. So I know New York City from every kind of dimension. I don't know the situation with the parks well enough, and I don't know the situation on opening streets, closing streets well enough. And frankly, I think the local officials are in a better position to make those decisions. They see this issue also. It's not that they don't see the issue. They see the issue, they see the problem. I want them to come up with a plan. I think they're in a better position to do it. I want to know what it is, and I want to approve it because this is a serious problem. That density has to be reduced, and it has to be reduced fast. And that's why I'm asking for a plan from them in 24 hours. But I think they're in a better position to do it.
Imagine closing parks and playgrounds and things like that.
I want to see what they say. They know the problem, they see it. I mean, it's all over the place. It's not that, you need a microscope to find this. It is all over the city. Now, maybe it was a nice day yesterday or whatever, but it was all over the place. Well, Giuseppe, the main problem is the equipment. It's the gowns, it's the masks, it's the PPE equipment, and we sent 1 million masks to New York City yesterday. We have 1 million masks here, so we can supply hospitals, but we're talking about a very short period of time. We've been scrambling to buy all these masks. I have companies that are manufacturing masks for us. We're buying sewing machines to make masks, but this is not the way it should be done. Let the federal government, they have a law called the Defense Production Act, which is precisely for this. I get the president saying he wanted to work voluntarily with private companies and ask them to help, and I get the president saying the private companies were great and they came forward and they said we want to help. I get that. I say, forget the voluntary partnership, order the companies to produce it, let the federal government do it, so that the private company doesn't wind up marketing with all these states that are competing. Think about it, we paid 85 cents for a mask, we're now paying $7 for the same mask. Why? Because California will pay $6, and Illinois will pay $6.50, and Florida will pay $6.75. I'm just making up those numbers, but that's not the way it should be. Let the federal government take the function of medical supply production and distribution. Just take it, right? when it came to testing, I said the exact opposite. I said to the president on testing, when everything was going through the FDA and everything was going through the CDC and it was slow, I said to the vice president, decentralize it. Give that function to me, the state. Why? I have 200 laboratories that I regulate. Give it to me, I'll turn on 200 laboratories, rather than going through a bottleneck in the federal government. Everything has to go through the FDA and CDC. So I said, in that situation, give me the task. I'll get it done faster. So it's not like I'm trying to say the federal government should do something to take a burden off me. I've accepted the burden of testing from the federal government. And by the way, our numbers went through the roof. This task, they are in a better position to do than I am. Order the production of masks and gowns and ventilators, give them a deadline, don't get into this mad bidding war. They know how to distribute it because you look at where the cases are. And distribute it by the need of the cases from Washington. Let them take that. This is the president can do this. Frankly, it's the president's style to say, cut to the chase, this has to be done, and I'm mandating it, and he should do that here. No, I'm not willing to give up the testing because the testing is one of the ways we slow this. There's only two ways to slow. Density reduction, which we're all, we can't do anything more than that. We're already at zero on non-smokers. The second is testing, positive, isolate positive. So I'm not going to stop testing because our number one job is slow of the people can't handle it in the hospital.
But if the disease is endemic, you know, it's think about the fact that at what point is it a diagnostic test? What's the point of testing?
There is a point of inflection, you're right, where you hit a point where the disease is so spread, it's not worth the test. We're not there yet because we're still trying to stop the API, right? We have to bring down that curve. Even if we're successful in this health order, where we get the hospitals to go to 50% additional capacity, still at only 75,000 beds when we need 110. I'm still only at 13,000 ICU beds when I need 37,000 ICU beds. I'm still at only 6,000 ventilators when I need 30,000 ventilators. So we have to do everything we can to keep that curve down. And that's the potential for that. That's what I wanted from New York City. From New York City, Mayor, City Council, Speaker Corey Johnson, let them come up with a plan. Get me within 24 hours. I want to approve it, but I'm open to anything. But it has to be done quickly. It's going to have to be dramatic action. Because it's not, I can't say anything more than I've said, right? How many times can you say you're being reckless and selfish? And you know, here's the best that brings up. We all talk about being a community. We're a community. What does a community mean? We're interconnected. We're interdependent. I rely on you, rely on me. Community. That's us at our best. The community of New York. I need to be able to rely on you. And that means you have to be smart and responsible in your actions. You have to be able to rely on me. And that means I have to be to expect that from you, especially in dire circumstances. And we're not there, and we should be there. And I'm going to keep saying it, but we're also going to be doing it. And in New York City to make it a reality. So, I'm sorry. We have done increased absentee ballots for elections. I think it's a good idea. Anyway, we should have done it a long time ago. It's especially a good idea when you don't want a lot of people going to a polling place. Melissa was handling that.
Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution says that there are only two ways that you can vote absentee. One is if you're sick, and the other is if you're unable to go to the poll. Over time, the legislature has legislated what it means unable to go to the poll as being out of the county. And so what we're looking at is if our executive authority will allow us to overcome that, or the legislature about changing the law to allow for it. Exactly, that's what we're reviewing right now.
No, we've done everything we can. They are the vulnerable area, right? Because they're a congregation of the vulnerable population. We said no visitors, which is really dramatic and sad action, right? You're in a nursing home, you're alone, you look forward to family visiting, and then we say no family visitors. We're encouraging and working with nursing homes for telecommunications and Skype and FaceTime and all that.
And we
Back at it again for Ross. Yes, we have those regulations.
updates on the coronavirus 2020.
Yeah, two separate tracks. It's a good question. Two separate tracks. One, state action. Assume no one else does anything, right? And I operate on that track. Assume the federal government doesn't do anything, and it's just New York State and New York State alone. And we're going down that track, and I'm doing everything possible on every level to do just that. And that's increasing the hospital capacity, minimum 50%, goal of 100%. They have to come up with a staffing plan to do that. That's finding the medical supplies for them. I'm not stopping on medical supplies. Manufacturing, I'm talking to uniform manufacturers to get them machines to convert. I have apparel companies that manufacture in China to stop making dresses, to start making gowns. I mean, we're doing every kind of thing we can do. Child care facilities for healthcare workers, special protections for healthcare workers. Assume the federal government is not. And we have that plan in place. At the same time, I am saying to the federal government, you need to do what you need to do. There is a federal role here. And this emergency management protocol, well, we support the states. Yeah, we support the states if the states can do it. That's what the emergency management protocol is. I do this as a governor. There's a flood in Erie County. Okay, Erie County, you're in charge. Call me if you need something. Yeah, I get that. But if I know the flood can't be handled by Erie County, then I come in and I'm the governor. And I come in and I say to the county executive, we're here, I'm the governor, I'm going to state resources. I'm saying to the federal government and I'm saying to the president, you should take over the medical supply function. Invoke fully the Federal Defense Production Act. Order manufacturing companies to manufacture it. Every state is saying, every city is saying they're running out of medical medical supplies. Do that. B, get FEMA, get the Army Corps of Engineers, you have the sites, tell them up here tomorrow, and start building those emergency hospitals. C, pass the funding. Don't let the Congress make it pork barrel. Don't let them get political patronage where everybody gives them 50 cents, but you actually don't fund the places that need it and the people that need it. Help the corporations, but don't help the corporations like in 2000, where the senior executive had tens of millions of dollars in bonuses. Now the taxpayers are supposed to fund that corporation to pay them out, and then the corporation 2 years from now is making record profits, and the normal time hasn't rebounded. The taxpayer who subsidized the corporation is still struggling to pay them more. We got 2008. When you go corporation, say, okay, here are the rules. You can't buy back stock. I want the bonuses to CEOs back. I want a equity stake in the company. I want interest in the company, an interest rate on the loan, but something that gets the profit back to the citizen. You know, we're tired of making these big corporations rich at tax expense. Make sure the corporations live up to their civic responsibility, and you have total responsibility. If you're going to give them taxpayer money, then you get to write the rules. You know, from the president's point of view, this is back to the old job, right? Somebody walks in and says, I want an investment in the company. Okay, I'll give you an investment in your company, but here are the rules before I give you an investment in the company. I need the federal government to do that. The emergency supplies, the funding to the places that need it. I need my congressional delegation to actually represent the state of New York and deliver. We need FEMA here. We need Army Corps of Engineers here. We need those functions working as quickly as possible. And we need federal assistance from the federal government. If none of that happens, then we're on our own. We're in New York. We'll figure it out. I'm sorry? You cannot be evicted for not paying rent. You know, we talk about increasing cases and virus. People with virus. A friend of mine, very public official, with top authority, he had the coronavirus, never hospitalized. He was home for 2 weeks. He is now tested negative for the coronavirus. So self-resolved, it was about 2 weeks. I don't even know that he needed it all 2 weeks. A little suspicious that maybe he resolved in 1 week and then he just took another week vacation, but I don't want to push it more. I'm going to go to work. Thank you guys very much. Steve, stay what?
All right, so we were listening to Governor Andrew Cuomo there from New York, talking just about, well, that was earlier today, but here we go. It looks like we are getting ready. The coronavirus task force is now coming up to the podium. Here we are now moments away from President Trump coming to that stage with the Vice President, along with other, as you can see, members of the White House Coronavirus Task Force team.
We're gonna go and start this live stream all over again.